Hello, Keron. Please tell me something about you. Who is Keron Vaishnav?
Hello, everyone. Keron here and with Editha. Since in our very first podcast, we met in Serbia, actually, and we had discussed about our internationalization, and I'm the founder of the Keron International. And we're here for the Erasmus Plus project, SDGYOU, and how we've been discussing, since first our session. Yesterday, we also had some conversation and information exchanges with Dana. And yes, this is what we've been doing, and we've been discussing about national education policy of India in 2020. It was revised after long years, and how it supports the SDG goals. So that was there.
Okay, thank you so much. But I want some personal questions about you. I understand in Serbia that you study in Europe, somewhere in Europe. Please tell me in short words something about your study over there.
Okay, let me correct you. I haven't studied in Europe. I've done a lot of trainings. I've done my education in New Zealand for hospitality and tourism management and the international business. But of course, that was something I could not follow because what I'm doing is totally different. It's something internationalization, education, everything. So, with the trainings and that was like short education for me to gain the knowledge for the internationalization, cultural exchanges, experience for being how to be trying to be a global citizen actually, because I always telling in my podcast when we're talking that in our ancient ages, since ancient ages in India, we say the word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is like a global citizenship. And that is what I believe, because with that education only, I think today's skill set will be helpful for the students to become a global citizens. Because for me, with my experience, they study, they know the technical knowledge, everything. But when they graduate and when they start working maybe in companies or offices, and they always think, oh, I need a big chunk of salary. I need a big organization where I can work. But when it comes to the skill set, they know nothing about it. Because technical thing is something that, okay, they're expert, but then you work with a team. It means that you have a human interaction with them. And if they are from different cultures, then there we go. I mean, it's rarely happens that some educational institutions, they talk about this. So that is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you. So could you tell us something about your challenges as a student, as a person, challenges from your side and your family's side?
Okay, great.
And if you can also tell us how many years ago you started to travel?
Okay, thank you. Good question, actually. Honestly, as a student, first I would like to start with, because there I started, the journey internationally. So I always wanted to be, doing something different, and internationalization was always there in my mind during my school time. Maybe I got influenced by my friends who they started, working in their young age with some companies abroad, and of course Hollywood movies. I won't deny that. And since childhood, my father always wanted, speaking English and doing good things and that. So that flick was something in my mind. I started my travel in 2008 when I would say I was a student traveling abroad. And being a student in 2008 in India, in my city, was a big problem. Problem in terms that the information was so scattered, because if I need to choose my university, I had to Google. That was not new for me at that time. And finding out the universities, Then once you get the information, you're not sure which university I should go. Then I had to travel to Mumbai, which is like 7 hours from my place, to get the consultancy. And again comes the visa. So visa is something that, you should have all the documentation, appropriate documentation, so you could not. Then we also need the help of the consultant. Another thing, during the visa, you need maybe scholarship. If not, you qualify, then education loan and da-da-da. So I had to rumble around, 10 different banks for the education loan. Okay, that was there. Then another challenge was medical, because for the visa, you should have full medical checkup before coming to some country. And then I had to go to the another south side of my city. It was like 4 hours journey to go to the hospital to do the medical checkups. And then to book my air ticket, I needed to go to Aurangabad, where I'm staying now, which is like 4 hours journey. So here we go. Nowadays, those challenges are not there, but still, it's in a scattered manner.
This is my next question. Do you think that those kinds of
services,
challenges, what you made face with them, is the same challenges from students from these days?
Well, I would say something good about my organization here. Because of having those experiences, I started this venture, which is establishing the international offices within the universities. And that is what the Keron International is doing. We are establishing the Center for European Studies in the universities, where universities, give us a space and we work for them. Well, they don't pay us any salary, but then we work voluntarily there and help students for the information. You must be thinking then how I earn my bread and butter, isn't it? So, when we send students abroad for the master studies, or we help them for the visa, my organization is having the partnership with 15 different banks, nationalized and private banks, where on the single table, in the single window, we provide them all the services within the campus. And it's all free of cost. We voluntarily help them. We get the commission from the bank, from the universities. Of course, that's my bread and butter. But then earning is one thing, but me being a student, I told you my story, they don't have to hunt down 10 different places. We provide them all the information on that single window, and they're very happy to do that. Plus, the universities get also benefit, because our National Education Policy 2020, it says that most of the universities should have international affairs, international educational exchanges, faculty exchanges, and, it should go global, not limit to own country or region.
Thank you. Could you give some advice from students who are listening us about internationalizing the education, how to start it, to find some universities to go to study, or some goals, some tips of tricks?
Okay, I would take this opportunity, because we're already doing that. So Education International and, the Center for European Studies, what we're doing, they can contact, they can Google. And of course, when they choose some universities, they must check the world ranking. And it's not in Google, it's on the THE ranking and QS ranking. There are these special websites where these organizations had put different universities, different rankings. So first of all, they must check if there are different rankings, like they are in first 200 or 400 in numbers, or the rankings, these universities from wherever they want to go, maybe in USA, Canada, Europe, maybe in Romania. So that is very much important. Second thing, most of the students should also check if the university supports to, give them an opportunity to find a job, because it's very famous in India. In every single small college to the biggest universities, they have this TPO cell, means Training and Placement Office. So it's it's their duty to also get them some companies in the campus, do their interviews, prepare them for the interviews, whether it is job or they also have entrepreneurship cell. If they want to go for the business, they also give them training there. So, this way students must think about the international education as well with that type. There are also some scholarships, but not many students they are aware. Even in India, I face this challenge that not many students in India, they are aware that apart from the international scholarship from those particular universities abroad, even the Indian government, they do have so many scholarship supporting students to go abroad. And they must check always, because for me, when I was a student, I didn't think about this because I was only focusing on, yes, I'm going abroad, the life will be different and I will be having opportunities. But then you should also think about the finances, whether they're secure, secure in terms of they also must know the updates if something is going on that country, like politically or maybe some reasons. Nowadays, what is happening, in Russia with the Ukraine. So many students from India, they go for medical studies for MBBS in Russia. So they must be updated themselves with the news. I always tell them that, you should be updated with the situation worldwide, what is happening before you're going there. Another thing is whether they will sustain there in terms of the weather, Many times it happens that students are very much enthusiastic to go abroad. And I've seen that places like Canada, which is a very cold place, they go there, and I have heard many stories. And in fact, some of the students, they could not adjust their lifestyle there and they come back. So that many ways they should check whether they are okay to deal with these situations.
Thank you. Do you think there is a real risk from to students from India who are going to study abroad? They will stay at the country where they go, or they will return back to India and perform what they studied?
Okay. I'll give my example. I went...
Not only yours, please.
No, because...
One other example.
That is what that is what I experienced, and I will give some other examples, as I said. So when I went there and I studied, I'm vegetarian, and culturally I cannot consume meat. And then there was one challenge of the food, but then, okay, things were available, luckily. Another thing I would not complain, but I would say the Indian culture is really like, family. So most of the students, I've seen that some of the parents, they called me back a couple of years back, before the COVID I'm talking about, that their children, they came back. Why? Because they were homesick. Because too much pampering of love and care, also a bit of the problem. Because when they go there, they are not really independent.
Do you know if there are some real statistics about this topic?
Not really the statistics, but yes, there are some points. Sometimes it happens that this happens, but statistically, I really am not aware of this. But yeah, but it's true.
Okay, thank you so much. So there are students who will return back to India, and other students make their family abroad after they study.
Yes, they do that. If they like one of the student, he's in UK now, and he studied IT. He got his residency there. Now he will be also calling his parents there. So probably they can go and come back, and could be a possibility to meet family, stay with them, and one of the good opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya.